Hello everybody, this is Hockey Pones, and you are watching a ship-by-ship video with commentary on 2015 draft-eligible player Daniel Sprong of the Charlottetown Islanders. As with all of my previous ship-by-ship videos, this is not a highlight reel. This is intended to give you an idea of Daniel Sprong's strength, skills, and style of play. As I always say, you can find highlights of players anywhere else, and this is intended to give you an objective look at a player. So let's get on to the game. Now, admittedly, I don't like how this game turned out for Sprong, but I'm not going to redo a whole video just because I don't like how it turned out. It's going to start off with quite a bit of criticism from the beginning, and I'll try to lighten up on it later on. Actually, later on it gets a little bit better. But I guess I'll start off with a couple things about him before I get to the criticism. First of all, he was the leading scorer of Charlottetown this season, I believe, with 88 or 89 points. You know, and I should have checked that before I started talking. But he's a very strong technical skater, and he has a very strong set of offensive skills, which we will discuss later. But we are going to talk about his defensive skills right now, or his commitment, and I'm going to start off right here. Now, I know that this is a breakout and his team has clear control of the puck, but you see 4 players, and none of them are him. He is actually almost out of the screen. He's towards the very bottom down there. And this is just a trend you will see throughout the video where he's usually one of the last players back in the defensive zone, one of the first players out, and it just seems to be a habit he has where he has a tendency to take a route or a path where he's just one of the last people in the defensive zone. And I'm going to point that out again shortly, and then I'll kind of lay off on it. But I just want to bring that to your attention because it's going to be a common theme throughout this video where he's just going to veer in one direction here and there, and then he'll just disappear from the screen and he won't show up until the play is well started in the defensive zone. And that could very well be a coach's decision. Again, I'm not trying to make judgments on if he's lazy or if he just doesn't care or if he's just off defensively. But once again, we have 4 players and none of them are him. He's still back in the neutral zone, and it's going to take a while before he joins in on the play. And this is just, again, something that is going to happen quite a bit. There he is. Anyway, as I had said just a few seconds ago, this could be a coach's decision, and it could very well be that I just caught a bad game, but that's all I can comment on. I'm not going to say what kind of player he is based off of other games because you're not getting that video evidence. So in this game, it's very frequent where he's just going to not back check, or he's going to just kind of veer off and take a roundabout way before he gets set in place. Now, just to continue on with the criticisms, and this isn't always a negative, but once people start talking about physical play and the lack of it, then usually they want to shy away from the player and call him soft and have these labels. And so it could just be his style of play, but he doesn't get engaged physically much, if at all, during this entire game. And I think that will scare some teams away from wanting to draft him, or at least they'll rank him a little bit lower. Other teams may not mind. I mean, not every team is very physical, so he could still be a good fit here and there. But what I do think is a little bit of a negative is he's not very strong on the boards. He has a tendency to favor the open ice, and sometimes when you're at the higher levels, you just don't get those kinds of opportunities. So I think that he needs to be a little bit more adaptable in that sense, where he can stand to get stronger along the boards and just have a better sense in terms of managing the puck, because sometimes he's going to be up against the boards and not able to use his speed to skate through the open ice. And I wanted to just backtrack a little bit and talk a little bit more about the defense and his lack of, I don't want to say lack of commitment into the defensive zone, but again, just kind of meandering back on the back check. I want to bring that up because I read some scouting reports about him being strong defensively, and again, I just don't see that in this video, and it could be that I caught him during a bad game, and like I always say, I'm not going to judge an 18-year-old based off of a bad day at work, because trust me, if you judge me based off of one day at work, you may think I'm a great worker, you might think I'm a total waste of space. So, yeah, like I always say, don't judge so much based off of one game. This is just kind of a way to critique this one game and maybe give you an idea of what his style of play is, and those who have watched him more closely and more frequently, I'd certainly like it if you would chime in and, just tell us if that's something that is very common. So this is just a replay of when he set up a player on the attack, and it was a great pass, and it just wasn't able to be completed. Well, he was able to complete the pass, but the teammate wasn't able to shoot it into the net. But on that note about his pass, we will make a transition into his offense, because this is where Daniel Sprong shines quite a bit. I mentioned very briefly earlier, but I do think he is a very strong technical skater, and he has just very strong acceleration and good top-end speed. And I try not to judge so much about skating, because I think that's something that can be improved upon, and I'm just kind of a lousy evaluator of talent when it comes to skating. If you see me skate, I look like Bambi on ice, but I am trying to just have a better gauge on that, just so I can try to adapt my commentary a little bit and give you more information, more feedback. Hopefully next season I'll be able to give a more in-depth analysis when talking about this stuff. But anyway, with what I can see and can tell, and this was reinforced with some of my readings, Sprong is a very strong skater, and I think that can create a lot of problems for the opposition, because he can just skate past him. He also, I don't want to call him a wizard with the puck, because he doesn't do anything overly fancy, but he is very gifted offensively, where he passes the puck well, he sees the ice very well. I'm not sure if I'd call him a playmaker, because when he shoots, he fires off a great shot as well. It's very deceptive, and he's able to fire it off mid-stride, which I will show in greater detail a little bit later in this video. So yeah, offensively, I think he is very gifted. He is used on the power play in this game on the point, and he actually gets a power play assist based off of some of his offensive instincts and his skills. And that's about it for now. I am going to transition and bring the in-game audio so you can listen to the game a little bit, and I will jump back in when the time comes. Oh, and actually before I do that, I just remembered, going back to something I do value, which is his utility, I wanted to bring up that he's not used at all on the penalty kill in this game. And again, just I wanted to stop talking about the negatives and just focus on positives, but what can you do? I did just want to bring up that he's not used at all on the penalty kill, but he is used on the power play and of course on the top line unit. So let's just put in some audio from the game, and I will be back in a bit.
A little bit more time and space, he'll make you pay. And Sprong getting back to shooting the puck more, which is creating a lot more chances for the Islanders.
And McKinnon as well, second of the team in power play points with 22. Sprong's got 26. Chalopic's got 19. Goulet's got 15. Here comes Goulet in off the left wing. Tries to tap it down low. He'll play it along the trapezoid. And eventually off the high glass area, play looks to continue on. First power play of the Charlottetown Islanders right now, trying to tie the game up for the second time. Ice wide for Kennedy, top of the circle. Chalopic with a drive. Sullivan will make the save. And trying to bring it back now shorthanded is going to be Farrell. And he will lift the puck in wide off that glove side of the goaltender Mason McDonald. One thing to watch out for as far as the Cape Breton Screaming Eagles are concerned is their number of shorthanded goals. They picked up 12 on the season. That's second in the league. Here is going to be Goulet. Now he doesn't get to it. The puck is played back the other way, and McKinnon will regroup on his side of center ice. Farrell, of those 12 shorties, Corey Farrell has 7 of them.
As dangerous as they come on short-handed, and he's just got great speed, but anticipates the play. You can't teach IQ.
Goulet with a snapshot. That one stopped by Sullivan to the glove side. Here's Weber again now. Off that center point. Dishes for Chalopic. He from 45 feet navigates with it. Drops it back for Weber again. Into the seam of Chalopic. Now there's going to be Goulet. Back for Kennedy. The ice opens up. Snip shot. Oh, boys, I'll tell you what. There's a save by goaltender Miguel Thompson. Back for David Henley again now. Here's going to be Balmas, nudges it in full flight for Sprong. 1.5 points in his last 11 games. Steps in, tight angle shot on that one. Stopped by Sullivan. It's loose and back again now. As the Islanders will have Cape Breton bring it back in transition. Dubois tries then to pound his way in. He's going to lose all 4 edges. Cued off the left wing boards by Henley. Here's Chalopic now. Again back for David Henley. He's off the left wing, plays it ice wide, broken back up again by Hines. Here's going to be an opportunity for Anderson stepping in again, tries to drive in back. Anderson again now for Cape Breton. Trying to bring it around off in front is Dubois. Here's McIntyre. He doesn't let it go. Hines has possession. Tries to play to the blue line, broken back up again, 2-on-2. Here's Sprong and Goulet. Stepping in, Goulet tries to drive in backhand. Shot doesn't get it away. Here's Sprong, tails off into the corner, top of the right circle, to the near point. McKinnon will keep it in, drifts it wide. As we've got Sprong, and now Goulet. He tries to take possession of it, bringing it back as Hines for Cape Breton. They lead 2-1. Both goals by Lazarev. Lazarev is 25th and 26th of the season. Balm is his 5th of the year for Charlottetown and 2nd of the year against Cape Breton. As we've got Sprong now. He's rinkside inside his own zone for Chalopic. Tries to stride with it in front of the penalty box. Pushed off the puck. Broken back up again by McSwain. Here now is McKinnon. It's a 3-1 hockey game in favor of Cape Breton. Here's Daniel Sprong now. Little look-see feed for Chalopic. He looks for Sprong again. Down low, left side. One of the big differences for Cape Breton, they've made some trades, but goaltending has been a key here. They did have Broussard. They weren't happy with him. And Sullivan has taken charge here for the most part.
It all starts in the back end. You can't get goaltending. You're not going to win hockey games. And for the Islanders, every game that they've won, Mason McDonald's been a big part of it.
As Thompson now, again, looking for Luc Deschênes. And we've got Chalopic. Across the ice for Goulet, who's had a quiet night so far. Goulet from 50 feet has his pocket picked. Lazarev, he sends it back outside the zone. Goulet, he doesn't advance it. Lazarev continues to just keep on ticking here. Balmas tries.
Okay, I'm going to cut in right here because the following sequences is going to highlight a lot of his offensive abilities very well. Right here on the power play, he is from the point, and he sees a lot of open ice there, and he doesn't hesitate. He just rips a shot that gets deflected into the net. So, where I point out the negatives, I also want to point out the positives, and he does a good job of anticipating the open ice there and just ripping a shot in. And so, he gets a power play assist there. And one thing that I've remarked on with pretty much all of these prospects that I think is very valuable, which is an indication of their instincts or hockey sense, is their decisiveness. And from an offensive standpoint, he is very decisive. like I said, he didn't hesitate with that shot. He just saw the opening and ripped it. There is another sequence coming up right here, which I'm going to pause in just a moment, but this time it's not firing a shot, but he's carrying the puck, and even though he has 3 guys hanging back, he does a good job of just deciding to carry the puck and split the defense. And what I really like is mid-stride, he just fires off a great shot, which does get blocked by the goalie, but I think that this is another good indication of his offensive ability. He did have a couple other shots like that, and there's going to be another one where he creates a good opportunity where he just fires it mid-stride, and that's a very difficult talent to master. It's a hard skill to do well, and with Sprong, he handles himself very well in the offensive zone, and he is very dangerous to the opposition. So, as a forward, he's very offensively gifted. I've mentioned that before. He doesn't engage very often physically, which I mentioned before. This is just to summarize some of the things I've seen, because I'm pretty much done with my comments on him. I'm just going to go back and bring in the in-game audio for you to enjoy the rest of the game here. But yeah, this game, I didn't like it a whole lot, just in the sense that if this is indicative of how Sprong plays, then I think he could definitely stand to be more disciplined or more assertive defensively. If it's not indicative of how he plays, then I just feel bad that this game doesn't represent his style of play as well as I'd like it to. So that's where I'm kind of disappointed with how this game turned out. But again, I mean, these games are pretty much chosen at random when I decided to make these videos, and I just want to be honest with my approach when I make these videos, where I don't want to, throw a game out because I don't like how it looked in terms of making a player look bad. If a player has a bad game, then he has a bad game. So hopefully you can understand that and take it for what it's worth, and hopefully just find this informative. So I am going to back out now and let you enjoy the in-game audio. And as always, I just greatly appreciate you all taking the time to watch this video and providing feedback. I know I'm kind of an acquired taste because I'm a very slow talker and a slow thinker. So I try the best I can, and the fact that you all seem to appreciate and are, for the most part, polite with your criticisms, that's definitely appreciated, and it's encouraging, because yeah, if it was just all like rude feedback, I might get a little bit more discouraged. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoy, and I hope you have a nice day. Until next time.
Sprong now looking back again for Deschênes. He steps back in again from a wide angle. Doesn't get it laid off in front. Second attempt. That one broken up by Cape Breton, who played as good a road game energy-wise that you could possibly play here tonight. They came to play the 60 minutes.
Yeah, and for Mason McDonald, tough one. 6 goals on 32 shots, but can't fault him on many. The power play, just too many penalties, and backdoor Max Schwinnigan.
Now Schwinnigan will be playing their 3rd game in 4 nights.
And no excuses in that one. There's no excuses here tonight. But the Cataracts on the road, they're looking to exact some revenge. The Islanders just have to be sharper tomorrow. They play like this tonight, no chance.
So it'll be a power play of McKinnon, Goulet, Chalopik, Kennedy. And Kiley here is going to be McKinnon. Sprong has control. Off the right wing inside his own zone. Here's Sprong again now. A little quick up for Kennedy, who's going to be pushed away and off the puck. McKinnon has to regather back up again. 6 minutes left in this third period. Chalopik and the Islanders in the power play for the third time. They're 1 for 2. They'll bring it back now. Left to right on the radio dial through center ice. Sprong again. Tries to find a lane. He'll knife it in down low. Blocker side of Miguel Sullivan. You talked about it, Corey. You're dead on. Really, has he made more than, perhaps 2 somewhat challenging saves here tonight?
Has broken a sweat.
As Kennedy on the edge of the play. And that hasn't been the case. He's been very